Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Joe Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, New York City, we have Sal Ternullo, who's the co-lead of Cryptoasset Services at KPMG. We're going to take a look at Correcting Crypto Custody Report. Sal, it's great to have you with us at market site. And custody is such a big topic in what we're covering. And since 2017, compromises of crypto assets native to the blockchain total nearly $10 billion in losses. What's the industry doing to address these losses?
Yeah, great question, Jill, and thank you for having me on the show today. So the $10 billion figure that's been widely reported in the media is representative of the current valuation of either compromises through cyber attacks or losses of crypto assets. And the core consistent theme across all of those different incidents is issues with custody. How do you securely safekeep and hold your crypto assets, either from a retail perspective or more importantly, at an institutional scale? And the report that we released on Monday dives down and breaks down 4 distinct pillars that define and accelerate winning institutional custody models.
And that's what the challenge is, because institutions are not going to take a position in crypto assets if they don't feel safe in terms of where their assets live and how they're being managed.
Absolutely. Without a full and complete comprehensive view of the risk profile of the asset and the custody solution that is safekeeping that asset on behalf of an asset owner, there's a limited or some greater hesitation from the asset manager, investment manager perspective to take those positions without that complete perspective on risk.
So what are the 4 essential building blocks?
So the first building block looks at next generation security and resilience. The second looks at comprehensive compliance. The third looks at third-party trust. And the fourth looks at value-added custody.
Do you think if there are improvements in custody and security that you will start to see more of a mass adoption when it comes to crypto assets and getting institutional investors on board?
Absolutely. Over the last year and a half, we've really seen progressive strides in terms of the institutional characteristics of custody solutions, meeting enterprise-grade requirements for security controls, embedding automation to facilitate audit trails with regards to different types of control implementations. And I really think that the maturation of the underlying infrastructure technology and also the cultural assimilation of how these assets are managed, how their risk is perceived, is really starting to drive a shift in the institutional landscape. There's a respect and thinking now that with the right type of control environment, this is an asset that is worth investing in and pursuing a relatively high spread on risk reward.
What do you think some of the issues were? Just that, it's a younger industry, if you will, relative to other asset classes, and they were just learning how to build out the custodial framework?
Yeah, so if you look at what the traditional model for institutional custody was, it's fundamentally different from what crypto custody brings to the table, from a technology infrastructure perspective, from a business process angle. So when we're looking at custody as a process to control and securely manage cryptographic key material, it's very different from maintaining a ledger entry on some client-server architecture, a back-office book and record system.
All right, now 2 years ago, you published a paper that predicted the institutionalization of crypto would be critical really for the success of the crypto economy. Clearly, you have the argument between institutional and retail adoption and what's driving it. Do you think that prediction is still correct?
Yeah, I do. I think we were probably on the early side from that predictions perspective, but I think it's held true over the last 18 months and 24 months particularly. As kind of the valuation of the asset class has recovered following the crypto winter, we've seen kind of a blossom in institutional infrastructure, both with regards to custody, but also middleware infrastructure technologies that are built on top of custody, which are enabling Marvel applications like HFT or high-frequency transaction models, or pivots into more scalable, high-volume type use cases where we have more retail engagement.
It's really interesting because this newer technology might actually lead the way for older asset classes and how they're custodying their assets.
Oh, absolutely. When we look at custody as a capability, we, from a strategic perspective, think about this capability as it is and how it can be extended across different types of assets. So in addition to crypto native assets, which require this robust custody solution, we're seeing those solutions designed in ways that can be extended to different types of tokenized assets, whether that's gold, real estate, or some underlying fiat currency.
All right, certainly encouraging. Thanks so much, Sal, for joining us at Market Site. And thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Joe Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Joe.